doing this because he thinks it's right. I think he's doing this, or that it's good for the country. I think he's doing this because it's going to give him more power, and the people he represents in the IWF more power. This is scary. This is some really Norwellian stuff going on.
Yes.
And by the way, it's going to get worse. It's going to get worse. You know, they've tried to do that here in the U.S. and it got blocked. You know, after BLM and people who were giving to anti-BLM movements.
Right.
And they tried that very, very hard. Whether you donated to the Proud Boys or the Two Percenters or even to the Republican Party, they wanted to find out and oust you and publicly ridicule you, and then they wanted to freeze your accounts. And thankfully that was stopped, but you could just see that these governments are really trying to control who can spend money and who can't. They did it with the vaccines, right? They wanted, you can only eat this food at this restaurant if you have a vaccine card. They're trying very, very hard to control the masses and who can spend money, and that's why these cryptocurrencies are really gaining so much steam as well, because you can't track it the same way.
Yeah, it just it's very scary what's going on just north of our border, and it's almost like it's an afterthought now in the news media and everything. Like, nothing to see here, nothing. You know, people's freedoms being snatched from them, their money being taken from them because they chose to give it to a cause that the Prime Minister of Canada doesn't like. So, but nothing to see here. Nothing to see here.
Well, and again, let's be clear. Canada is one of those countries that people hold up as, you know, look at how well they do things in Canada.
Look how well. You think socialism doesn't work? Look at Canada. Look how well it's working.
Yeah, well, and they wouldn't call it socialism, even though there is a lot of socialism. And again, I think you're seeing that pop up now. And again, I say it all the time. You know, once in a while, you have to fight for your freedom. And I think again, we needed this kind of a breaking point in order for a lot of people to say, look, what are we doing here? Just about everybody is saying that COVID is past. And again, I'm not saying COVID's not real. I'm just saying you can't run away from a virus. And I think we're seeing the end of COVID, but the government doesn't want to relinquish the control it had over us.
Yeah, that's the thing. And here's what's the crux of the issue. What are individuals willing to do to make sure that a government cannot control them? That's really what it comes down to. What are you as an individual willing to do and willing to sacrifice to make sure government can't control you?
Yeah, and I'll give you a perfect example of what the Canadian police are doing. So what they're doing is they're taking these truckers, they're pulling them out of their trucks, and then because there's no law that they've actually broken, they're putting them in the cop car, they're driving them 20 miles out of town and dropping them off in an isolated spot.
And seizing their
all
truck.
All by themselves. Well, they can't seize their truck. What they're doing is they're just removing them from the area. And then the truckers have to figure out a way to get back. And so they did that to about 50 different people, and they spread them out. And then these people ended up, you know, it took them a day or two to get back to the protest. And they're like, look, this is what happened. They're like, oh, yeah, they did the same thing to me. And so you're seeing that, and then the police are just denying it because there's no evidence of it. That's Gestapo-level stuff. Because what the next step is, oh, okay, we're just going to take you to this camp. They by the way, they have camps in Australia and in New Zealand. They just call them COVID camps, where you're not allowed to leave. Right? You get 1 hour of sunlight a day. And there's all these kind of things, and they're just testing the waters. And again, the government will try to control you for as long as it gives them power.
100%. And by the way, you notice the one thing we haven't said here, folks? We haven't designated any kind of political affiliation. government in general, no matter who's in charge, will do
Sure.
whatever they can do to stay in charge and keep power and create more power. It doesn't matter who's in charge. It doesn't matter which way's in charge. If this was the rival party in Canada and this was happening the same way, the government would be doing the same thing to try to keep power.
Yeah, and again, I think most people, the way they're viewing the trucker convoy is like, look, man, I just want my stuff. You know, I can't you just leave me alone? Why are we doing this?
Well,
And by the way, and that's exactly what the government wants you to do.
of course.
They're like, oh, look, and that's how it's being couched. That's how the message is being portrayed. Is these truckers are preventing you
From living
from
your
being able
life.
to work
Exactly.
if you're an automotive worker, and that's how they're making the truckers the bad guy. Again, there's so many problems with this whole thing, and again, they in this country they've already made these mandates, these vaccine mandates, a thing where they're preventing your right to work. In some states, they're preventing your right to work. People who have worked at places for 20 years are like, oh, no, you're no longer able to work here because you don't have this stamp on this card. You can't put this substance. If you have to put this substance in your body, if you don't, you can't work here. Oh, no, you're not allowed to ask what this substance is. Just take our word for it. No, and take this medical doctor's word for it, and these scientists who you're not allowed to question. You're not allowed to question these scientists. Nope, can't do that. You just have to take their word for it that we're looking out for you because we are the government, right?
We would never lie to you.
Exactly
How dare you think we
No.
would lie to you?
No, we didn't do this in Tuskegee. No, that would never happen. We never gave any population of Native American smallpox to see what would happen. No, we wouldn't do that.
We never gave. We never did LSD studies on servicemen and women that didn't know we were doing it.
No, and again, this didn't come from a lab. This isn't man-made. And by the way, for you even saying such a thing, you're probably going to be put in our social media jail. And in some cases, they wanted them arrested, right, for spreading misinformation. You know, I mean, they're threatening our very free speech about this topic. And what they're really doing is testing the waters. This is a real problem. And I'm glad at least some group of individuals stood up because nurses tried to, and they were shot down so quickly because, look, you are impacting our health.
Remember, doctors tried to. There was a group of doctors that stood on the steps of the Capitol building. Yeah.
Yeah. And again, they were shunned and fired from their job. Professors have come out and written articles. Nobel Peace Prize winners have written articles, and they said, oh, you're going to write this? If you don't take it back and retract every single word, we're going to take your financial means, and we're going to take away your award, and you're going to have to pay us all that money back. And so you're going to be destitute, broke, and we are going to shun you out of polite society. And guess what? It has worked across the board.
Not only that, but now Joe Biden has come publicly said that with all this facing us right here with Canada next door to us and everything, he needs to go meet with Vladimir Putin. But he's only going to meet with Putin as long as Putin doesn't invade Ukraine. I don't know where this saga's going either. We'll talk a little bit about that. We got to take a break. We'll talk a little bit about that when we come back. 1370 AM, 96.3 FM. This is WOCA, The Source.
Are you or your loved one being released from a hospital and wondering how you'll manage? Inform your physician that you want to go to Palm Garden of Ocala at 2700 Southwest 34th Street for your rehabilitation. Palm Garden provides pain management, post-discharge follow-up, diabetic care, psychosocial support, and so much more. Plus, they even offer outpatient rehab. This award-winning care facility has a team of licensed professionals dedicated to enhancing your independence. Call 352-854-6262 today.
Hi, this is JP from Penn Flooring here in Ocala. I would like to invite you to come in and visit our spacious showroom where we have solutions for every style and budget. From wall-to-wall carpet to hardwood floors and tiles, we have an unsurpassed selection of flooring. At Penn Flooring, we've provided quality customer service with a family touch for over 25 years. Visit our website at pennflooring.com or come by our showroom, 1201 Southwest 17th Street, just over the bridge. Penn Flooring, quality customer service with a family touch.
New arrivals and new savings are waiting for you at Blockers Furniture. With over 80,000 square feet of the best selection and best prices you can find on furniture, mattresses, home accents, accessories, and more. And with new trucks arriving weekly, Blockers has the best available in-stock selection. Unlike many other furniture companies that will have you waiting for months to get what you want or need, come see everything that Blockers has to offer. Blockers Furniture, 2402 Southwest College Road, next to Hobby Lobby.
Are you wasting time boxing up packages and going to the post office or the UPS store? Are you tired of not knowing what you'll pay when you get there? Just Ship offers pickup service and flat rate packaging and postage rates, which takes the guesswork out of shipping while saving you time and money. So quit wasting valuable time and money. Call or text Just Ship at 352-234-3840. That's 352-234-3840. Just Shipped.
Now you've done it. Have you lost your mind? He's back. And you're listening again. A legend in his own mind. Don't believe me? Just ask him. Here's Tom Schmitz live on WOCA. The Source.
Welcome back to Ocala Talks on a Monday. I'm your host, Tom Schmitz, coming to you from the studios of WOCA Radio, located just off the runway at the Ocala International Airport in the Brick City, beautiful Ocala, Florida. Galen, you know from Life South. He's brought to you every day by the good folks at Palm Garden Health and Rehabilitation Center, Penn Flooring, and JustShip.net. He joins us on the line. Galen, so not only is what's going on in Canada happening right at our border, but now we have to go, according to Joe Biden, protect the Ukrainian border by having meetings with Vladimir Putin. But we're only going to have the meetings, Vlad, if you don't invade Ukraine. You invade Ukraine, we're not going to have a meeting with you.
Well, I completely understand it. If he wants to go talk to him, he can talk to him. I think presidents should talk to whoever they need to talk to. I think a much scarier proposition was sending Kamala Harris over to
Iran
president
to negotiate with Iran.
I mean, what is she going to do? Just giggle and make that uncomfortable laugh? No, again, that's part of what a president has to do. And I am pretty sure that the people, well, maybe in the State Department are smart enough to say, you know what, he can only have about 20 minutes. After 20 minutes, he kind of gets bored and loses his train of thought. And let's cut this very, very short. I think they should have this meeting. I think, again, if Russia invades Ukraine, the whole world's in a different spot. And we should all, that's a big, big threat. How we got here doesn't matter. The fact that we're here matters. And so he has to deal with it.
It is the equivalent to, in my mind, and, I know a thing or two about history. I don't know much, but I listened in class every now and then. You know what I mean? And to me, I can show you direct correlations if Putin invades the Ukraine to Hitler invading the Rhineland.
You can.
Because of all the raw materials in both places that were needed by the invading country. Everybody thinks Russia's going to invade Ukraine because they think it should be back under the Russian fold. They want to invade Ukraine because of all the raw materials in Ukraine.
Well, and it gives them access to another sea. I mean,
right.
There's a lot there. It's strategic for sure.
It is strategic,
and again,
there's metals in there Russia would love to have it that Ukraine has. There's fuel in there. There is another port access to another sea.
Correct.
And the Rhineland, if you go back, there was iron ore in the Rhineland, and there was fuel in the Rhineland. There was a lot of things, a lot of similarities can be drawn between the two.
Well, and what will make that, what will decide if that's true is the world's reaction to it. The world's reaction to the Rhine was like, okay.
Just don't take any more land, and we're still good.
Yeah, well, it was more like, okay, we're going to isolate them. Okay. All right. Then
appeasement started. Appeasement.
One by one, and again, and you could say that this has been going on for a while now with Russia developing, and it's bringing back that Iron Curtain.
What did they think he was going to do when he just unceremoniously said, "Crimea now belongs to me"? When it was clearly,
exactly right.
When it was clearly a Ukrainian piece of property.
Sure, and again, we did all these sanctions. How'd that work out?
Yeah.
I'm not a big believer. Like sanctioning Iran, what's the point of that?
It's kind of like making It's kind of like making gun laws. Criminals don't listen to it anyway.
Correct. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know.
But the problem is, and that's what I think the problem is, a lot of the world just is at the point where they're like, this whole Ukrainian thing, I don't know. I don't know what to make of it. I don't know. I just don't know. And that's how you end up in situations that lead to war. Because people are like giving it I don't know. I don't know. What do you think? And I think a lot of the world leaders are doing that too, looking at each other, saying, well, what do you think? Well, what do you, while Putin's going, I got him confused now. I'm in good shape.
Well, I think America has a huge role to play in the development of World War II and our isolationism and our just.
Oh, of course. Hitler was incensed that Japan bombed Pearl Harbor because he was like, why would you wake the sleeping giant?
Well, and again, we were what, the 12th, 16th, something like that. I can't remember. Largest military in the world at the time. We
12th.
were inconsequential. Was it 12th? But the bigger issue was all of the resources we could bring to bear and how quickly we could do it, because we were really industrialized at the time, and that's what. And again, by the way, most Americans would have been fine if Hitler took over all of Europe. They just left us alone.
Just left America alone. We'd have never. If he'd have never left. If the Japanese had never bothered America, America would have been, at that time in our history, America would have been perfectly fine. That whatever happened to you, Europe, that happened to you. That ain't got no bearing on us.
Yeah, it would have been at least another year before we got into the war.
If at all.
You could say it's inevitable, but I don't know if it would have been. Right? Because at that point, we had no idea about the Holocaust.
We knew nothing about that until we got in there, until we started liberating the taken lands.
Well,
we had no idea about any of that.
No, you had heard of things about they're isolating the Jews because some of the Jews had escaped. But no one knew what those camps were. There was no way that anybody understood or had a grasp of the vastness of the atrocities that were happening. There was no way to know. Again, we'll see what happens. But this is an important week for Biden. This is an important week for freedom in a lot of ways.
I want to, but we got to go to break here in about 2 minutes. But I want to go back and touch on something you said. You go, if the State Department knows what they're doing, they'll only limit him to 20 minutes. Well, we obviously know the State Department doesn't know what they're doing, or they wouldn't have sent a woman with no security abilities, no foreign policy abilities whatsoever in our vice president to try to negotiate an arms deal or a nuclear deal with a nation that's entire desire is to eradicate us.
Oh, I think that was just they did it over there like, okay, yeah, we'll send Kamala. You, by the way, you can't do any more harm with Iran. You can't, right? They've proven that they're continuing to work on this.
Somebody in Biden's administration just said, hold my beer.
Well, maybe. I don't think anybody wants to go to war with a madman. I don't think sending Kamala. I mean, you got to send her somewhere. She is a vice president. The people, by the way, and this is important, the American people voted for her to become the vice president.
Yes.
Now, you could say directly or indirectly, right, because they really voted against Trump.
100%. But I understand what you're saying.
On the
She was on the winning
she was
ticket.
voted in office, so she has a right to be there to represent the United States. Whether she should be, different story. Whether she's qualified to be, doesn't matter.
By the laws written in
picked
our
her-
Constitution,
they picked her as
she
best they can.
earned right. By the laws written by our Constitution, she earned her position of being the vice president where she goes on these kind of trips. I'm not arguing that point. I'm arguing that she is, because of her lack of experience or lack of knowledge of anything foreign policy-wise, she can do a lot more harm than good without doing a whole lot.
I don't know about that. I don't know if the vice president has that kind of a power
I don't know.
or ability. I think she's just there in case my heart stops. I mean, literally, that's what it is.
Which would be even worse.
I don't. Yeah, we could. That's debatable, but for sure.
Yeah.
I think everybody would be. I think if that happened the next morning, we'd go, "Oh, what are we going to do now?"
What are we going to do now? Right now, we're going to go to break. You're listening to Ocala Talks on 1370 AM, 96.3 FM. I'm your host, Tom Schmitz, coming to you from the studios of WOCA Radio right here at the Ocala International Airport. This is The Source.
Broadcasting from the Ocala International Airport, this is WOCA AM, W242CA FM, Ocala, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, The Source.
USA Radio News with Lance Pry.
It's President's Day here in America, a federal holiday. Expect no mail, no stock markets, no banks, but some schools may choose to be open because of all the time lost during the pandemic. President Biden has agreed in principle to meet with Russian President Vladimir Putin in the near future, provided Russia has not invaded Ukraine. The deal was brokered by French President Macron. The exact timing and location of such a meeting will be worked out Thursday, provided everyone plays nice.
Tensions created by Russia and the separatist forces it backs there.
A suspect sought in a Chicago armed train robbery, Zion Brown, has been identified as a Loyola University student. It wasn't witnesses or facial recognition software that found him. It was actually his mom. Mr. Brown's mother recognized her surveillance video, then reportedly dragged him into the police station to turn himself in. Thanks for listening. We are USA Radio News.
I struggled with symptoms like frequent gas and stomach pain for years.
I was bloated all the time with daily diarrhea.
At first, I thought it was what I was eating.
I kept thinking it was stomach issues.
So I did my research and talked to my doctor, and we finally uncovered the truth.
It was actually EPI. Exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI, is a condition where your pancreas is unable to help break down your food.
It can lead to symptoms like diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, unexplained weight loss, and oily stools.
And EPI symptoms can be confused with those of other common digestive conditions, like irritable bowel syndrome, Crohn's, and celiac disease.
So getting to the right diagnosis meant being more open with my doctor about the severity of my symptoms and how often they were happening.
But there's good news. EPI is manageable, so don't wait any longer. Use the symptom checker at identifyepi.com and schedule a visit or call with your doctor to ask, could I have EPI?
Sponsored by AbbVie.
Each morning, we wake up thankful to live in a free nation with liberty and justice for all. But sometimes those liberties can be put in jeopardy, and you may have questions about what to do or who to call. Let Doc Blanchard of Blanchard, Miriam, Adele, and Kirkland help you find the answers. Attorneys at law since 1974 and located in downtown Ocala. If you have legal issues, don't go it alone. Call 352-732-7218. Blanchard, Miriam, Adele, and Kirkland, helping protect your liberties every day.
Here's the latest from the College of Central Florida. On Tuesday, February 22nd at 8:35 a.m., Dr. Raphael Robinson will tell us about Preview Night. That's coming up at CF Ocala's campus. Tune in to find out about the programs, services, and clubs that will be on hand to answer all your questions about enrolling at CF. So make sure to join Ocala Talks at 8:35 on February 22nd.
Veterans Helping Veterans USA. Call 352-433-2320. We help veterans and their families with limited financial assistance, counseling, employment referrals, and a food and clothing bank. You can help in making a huge difference in the veterans' lives we serve by donating food, clothing, household items, or direct financial assistance. All donations are tax deductible. Veterans Helping Veterans USA, 352-433-2320. Thank you for your attention, and God bless America.
You know what you want to do in retirement, but do you know how to get there? Tune in to Coasting into Retirement with Gary Marriage of Nature Coast Financial Advisors, Sunday mornings at 8 to get answers to your retirement planning questions. Plan today so you can do the things you've always dreamt about doing in retirement. Listen Sunday mornings at 8 to Coasting into Retirement with Gary Marriage of Nature Coast Financial Advisors.
Our firm offers insurance services.
The Ocala Golf Club, one of Ocala's premier golf courses, from its pristine 18-hole course layout to its amazing pro shop. Jason Linhart and the staff at Ocala Golf offer everything that you need for your golf outing. That's the Ocala Golf Club. Experience country club style golf at municipal prices. You won't go wrong with the Ocala Golf Club. Call them for a tee time today, 352-401-6917.
You're getting ready to move and you work hard. That's why you call Two Men in a Truck, 352-289-0666. You need pros. Trained professional moving experts to do the heavy lifting for you. That's why you call Two Men in a Truck, 352-289-0666. They care about your things as much as you do, and they do it fast and right. That's why you call Two Men in a Truck, 352-289-0666. Visit twomeninatruck.com and get moving.
Two Men in a Truck.
You're having another great day and you have good taste tuning into WOCA